We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. India remembers Mahatma Gandhi on his 76th death anniversary. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to attend prayer meet at Gandhi Smriti on the occasion of Martyrs' Day. Tensions mount between Washington and Tehran after drone kills U.S. soldiers in Jordan. NSA John Kirby says don't seek war but vows to take all necessary actions. North Korea fires cruise missiles towards sea off west coast. It comes a day after it tests a submarine-launched cruise missile. And India to take on New Zealand in the Under-19 World Cup Super 6 stage match at the Mungong Oval Stadium in Bloemfontein in South Africa. And on to details now. India pays homage to Father of the Nation Mahatma Gandhi on his 76th death anniversary. The day is also observed as Martyrs' Day. Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated on the day in 1948. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to attend prayer meet at Gandhi Smriti in New Delhi on the occasion of Martyrs' Day. And moving on, the White House said on Monday that the U.S. is not looking for a war with Iran or seeking to escalate the tensions in the West Asia in the wake of the recent drone attack on its troops in Jordan. The attack on Sunday killed 3 U.S. soldiers and wounded more than 40 troops. It was the first deadly strike against U.S. troops since the Israel-Hamas war erupted in October and marks a major escalation in tensions that have engulfed the West Asia.
We are not looking for a war with Iran. We are not seeking a conflict with the regime in a military way. And as I said in the opening, we're not looking to escalate here. This attack over the weekend was escalatory. Make no mistake about it. And it requires a response. Make no mistake about that. I will not get ahead of the president's decision making.
Meanwhile, the U.S. military on Monday released photos of the 3 U.S. troops killed in a drone attack on a U.S. base in Jordan by Iran-backed militants on Sunday. The soldiers were identified as Specialist Kennedy Ledon Sanders, 24, Breonna Alexandria Moffett, 23, and Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, 46. The Sundays, which wounded dozens of other soldiers, was the first deadly strike against U.S. troops since the Israel-Hamas war erupted in October and marks a major escalation in tensions that have engulfed the West Asia. Meanwhile, Israeli troops have dismantled 2 of 4 Hamas battalions in Gaza's Khan Yunis city. The units operated above ground and from within underground tunnels. IDF spokesperson Daniel Hagari said the army will keep focusing on dismantling the remaining Hamas battalions in Khan Yunis. He informed that the Israeli army has so far killed over 2,000 Palestinian terrorists in Khan Yunis.
In all of Khan Yunis, we have eliminated more than 2,000 terrorists above and beneath the ground. In addition, we destroyed significant underground infrastructure in which we found facilities for holding hostages, command centers, weapons, production facilities, and intelligence material.
And amidst the conflict, the future of hostages remains at stake, for which intensive deliberations are underway. Washington is seeking a humanitarian pause in the fighting in Gaza of sufficient duration that will allow a large number of hostages to be freed, reacting on which U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken termed it as strong.
The proposal is a strong one and a compelling one that, again, offers some hope that we can get back to this process. But Hamas will have to make its own decisions. I can just tell you that there is, again, strong, I would say, alignment among the countries involved that this is a good and strong proposal. And the work that was done over the weekend, including by CIA Director Bill Burns, was important in helping to advance this.
Meanwhile, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres met with the head of internal UN investigations to ensure that the inquiry into Israeli accusations against staff at the UN Palestinian Aid Agency will be done swiftly and as efficiently as possible. Israel has accused UNRW employees of being involved in the October 7th Hamas attack.
The Secretary General has remained very active on this issue throughout the weekend and this morning. A few moments ago, he met with the Undersecretary General head of OIOS to ensure that the investigation will be done swiftly and as efficiently as possible. Any employee involved in acts of terror will be held accountable, including through criminal prosecution.
Also, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that Washington will closely examine steps the United Nations Aid Agency for Palestinians takes in response to Israeli allegations.
The reports that we got last week, and UNRWA brought them to us, were deeply, deeply troubling. It is imperative that UNRWA immediately, as it said it would, investigate, that it hold people accountable as necessary, and that it review its procedures. I had a very good conversation with Secretary General of the United Nations, Guterres, last week when we were first made aware of these allegations, and we're going to be looking very hard at the steps that UNRWA takes, again, to make sure that this is fully and thoroughly investigated.
Well, British Foreign Secretary David Cameron will travel to Oman on Tuesday, where he's expected to call for stability over ongoing Houthi attacks in the Red Sea and de-escalating of tensions in the Middle East. Cameron, on his fourth visit to the Middle East, will travel to Oman to meet his counterpart Badr Abdul Saidi to discuss how to diminish tensions across the region. Cameron will reiterate Britain's commitment to getting aid into Yemen and outline the actions Britain is taking to deter the Houthis from targeting ships in the Red Sea. In an earlier diplomatic tour, Cameron met Israeli PM, politicians in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, and also visited Qatar. And moving on, after ratification by Turkey, Hungary is the only country left effectively holding up Sweden's NATO membership. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the United States expects Hungary to approve Sweden's NATO accession in the weeks ahead on Monday.
We see that NATO is advancing with a sense of urgency and a strong sense not only of unity of purpose, but unity of action. Just at the very end of last week, Turkey approved Sweden's accession to NATO. Sweden brings tremendous capabilities to the alliance in every domain. Hungary now will have to act in order to complete the process of Sweden's accession, but I fully anticipate that that will happen in the weeks ahead when Hungary's parliament returns.
And Updates now on Russia-Ukraine war. Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó arrived in Ukraine for talks with senior officials on Monday to the western city of Uzhhorod to hold talks with his Ukrainian counterpart, Dmytro Kuleba, and Presidential Chief of Staff, Andriy Yermak. Ukraine and Hungary said they had laid the ground for a meeting of their leaders during talks in Western Ukraine. Szijjártó arrived in Ukraine days before a European Union summit that will seek agreement on a financial aid package that has been held up by Budapest.
We came here with the aim to rebuild the atmosphere of trust in our bilateral relations between Hungary and Ukraine. I think we agreed that we have made encouraging steps towards this. There is still a long way to go and a lot of work will be needed. But we on the Hungarian side are ready to do the work and ready for further joint work.
And meanwhile, after the talks with Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó, top Ukrainian presidential official Andriy Yermak said Ukraine and Hungary are interested in holding a meeting between their leaders as soon as possible. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said the two countries had agreed to form a commission that would prepare proposals on the rights of the ethnic Hungarian minority living in Ukraine. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orbán has retained cordial ties with Russia despite the war between Russia and Ukraine. Well, a Ukrainian rocket strike on the Russian-controlled city of Donetsk in eastern Ukraine on Monday. The city's Russian-installed mayor Alexei Kolomzen said that the strike killed at least 3 civilians. The city of Donetsk has been under Russian control since 2014, but Ukrainian troops continue to hold positions on the outskirts of the city of Donetsk, and the city regularly comes under artillery fire. Well, the U.S. began reinstating sanctions on Venezuela after the nation failed to lift a ban on a leading opposition candidate running for president later this year. The United States had granted sanctions relief for OPEC member Venezuela in October as part of an electoral deal. But that relief was conditioned on President Nicolas Maduro freeing certain opposition-linked and American prisoners. Venezuela in December carried out a prisoner swap that appeared to be a step towards complying with those demands. However, in recent days, the decision by the Supreme Court against Venezuelan opposition presidential candidate Maria Corina Machado, plus new arrest of opposition members, has prompted a U.S. threat to restore sanctions. White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said the U.S. measures would depend on Maduro and his government. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Despite lawmakers' attack, British PM Sunak wins on new Rwanda asylum law. Improvised explosive device kills the 7 at Nigerian school. And in Spain, carnival goers ward off evil spirits and welcome spring with ritual dance.
What does India Inc. want from the budget?
This is a good time for the government to even look at how it can show its performance, which will lead to predictable economic future of the countries. I would think a lot could happen in terms of even seeing how we can keep the continuance of investment-led growth. Things like uplifting of the rural economy, which is going to be an important area of work to do. I would really see how we are able to enhance rural economy, rural roads, irrigation, storage, warehousing infrastructure.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political, and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lepakshi Khurana, and moving on, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak won the first vote in the upper house of Parliament on his legislation to revive a plan to send asylum seekers to Rwanda. Under the Rwanda plan, which is yet to be carried out, asylum seekers who arrive on England's southern coast in small inflatable boats would be sent to Rwanda to live. Sunak won despite lawmakers attacking the bill at length as unethical and unworkable during 6 hours of debate. With his Conservative Party trailing in the opinion polls before an election expected later this year, Sunak has invested large amounts of political capital in the Rwanda policy. He hopes it will allow him to meet a promise to stop the boats. And North Korea has fired multiple cruise missiles into the sea in its third such test in less than a week. South Korea and U.S. intelligence agencies have been closely monitoring the situation amid escalating tensions on the Korean peninsula. Last week, North Korea tested submarine-launched missiles. It is identical to the strategic cruise missiles that the Pyongyang launched last week as part of an upgrade to its weapon system.
Our military detected multiple unidentified cruise missiles launched from the North Korea's west coast around 7 a.m. today. And South Korea and the U.S. intelligence authorities are analyzing details. While strengthening surveillance and vigilance, our military is closely cooperating with the United States and monitoring North Korea's activities.
북측 서해상으로 발사된
And India correspondent Chris Gilbert joins us from Tokyo for more. Well, Chris, the launches follow tests on the January 24th and January 28th of what North Korea has described as a new cruise missile developed for submarine launches. These come amid heightened tensions in the region against South Korea, US and Japan nexus. How can we see that?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what further details emerge about these most recent missile launches. KCNA, the state media of North Korea, usually provides an overview of what happened about a day later and lets us know if Kim Jong-un was attending and other details like that. But there are two interesting things about this latest flurry of launches that I can see and that experts have been talking to me about. The first is that there is an uptick in military activity coming from North Korea. In 2022, we saw a record year of missile launches from Pyongyang. In 2023, we saw about half of that activity. Now, North Korea always says that it's trying to defend itself, it's working to protect itself, and that its missile tests, are done to that end. At the moment, we are seeing a slight uptick in that activity, suggesting that tensions are rising again on the peninsula. The other interesting thing is that unlike other missile launches we've seen, which have been single ultra-long distance missiles that were launched in 2022, bringing all of the United States within range, we're seeing lots of short-range missiles, anti-submarine missiles fired, either side of the Korean peninsula, suggesting that North Korea is much more focused on its immediate surroundings and its immediate borders at the moment.
All right. Also, Chris, the North Korea on January 14th tested a new solid fuel intermediate range missile targeting remote U.S. targets in the Pacific. What are the intentions you see behind the moves?
Well, the solid fuel missile empowers, any country which has it to effectively, store the missile fueled up and to launch it at short notice. And this is meant to be, a threat to the United States, to South Korea, to Japan, that any attacks or perceived acts of aggression against North Korea can be responded to, strongly with the nuclear capabilities, but also swiftly. They won't need to fuel up their missiles before they fire them. They can be effectively ready to fire at any time. It needs to be remembered that North Korea and South Korea are in a state of war, and they have been in a state of war since 1950. But experts question whether it's in any either country's interest to begin provocations again, especially not North Korea, as it's significantly outgunned. And looking ahead into the future, there's of course a wild card hanging above all of this, which is the US elections, and questions about what would happen if, for example, Donald Trump was to return to the presidency of the US. Experts have said to me that that would throw everything up in the air all over again. So the situation as we know it might not be the situation a few months from now, depending what happens in those elections.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris, for that update from there. And moving on, Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili resigned from office on Monday for the second time. At a briefing, Garibashvili announced that he would assume the role of chairman of the ruling Georgian Dream Party starting February 1st. Garibashvili said the party needed to focus on securing a convincing victory in the parliamentary election due to be held this fall. Georgian media, including both government and opposition, reported that Irakli Kobazhirsle, the current leader of Georgian Dream, would succeed Garibashvili as Prime Minister. And Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador downplayed the statement made by his American counterpart Joe Biden, who expressed his willingness to close the border between the United States and Mexico if lawmakers send him a border agreement. During a conference, López Obrador stated that the proposal is very demagogic, and he assured that it would not be viable considering the intense commercial exchange that the United States maintains with Mexico. However, the Mexican president expressed that he respects Biden very much and understands the circumstances.
Es muy demagógica.
So the position of we are going to close the borders is very demagogic. For example, I have a lot of respect for President Biden. He has conducted himself very well. So did President Trump before. He was very respectful of us. We understand the circumstances, but imagine closing the border. With a reasonable amount of thought, you wouldn't think that this is a solution. Imagine the level of economic and commercial integration that we have. We are the main partner of the United States in the world. How can we close the border?
Well, an explosive device mistaken for scrap metal claimed the lives of at least 7 individuals, including school children in northeast Nigeria's Borno state. The blast occurred in a school building. 6 of the children, aged between 7 and 11, picked up the explosive device along with some scrap metal and stored it in an uncompleted building at a school in the Gubbio area of the state. The device detonated as children sought to sell it as scrap metal to a metal scavenger. All 7 died in the incident. Despite a ban, scavenging for scrap remains prevalent in the region. Well, Brazilian federal police have searched properties linked to Carlos Bolsonaro, son of former President Jair Bolsonaro, as part of a probe into suspected illegal spying on political foes during his father's term. Bolsonaro, a Rio de Janeiro city councillor, is already facing a Supreme Court investigation for allegedly running a fake news factory from within the presidential palace. The search marks a stark escalation in the spy probe, hitting at Bolsonaro's inner circle. The federal police are investigating accusations of illegal monitoring of citizens by the Brazilian intelligence agency during Bolsonaro's 2019-22 term. 9 warrants were served, with Bolsonaro now suspected of using data illegally collected by Abin using Israeli software called First Millet. And a 14-year-old student faces a charge of murder after he stabbed a fellow student in the neck and abdomen with a fruit knife during morning assembly in the school in Bangkok on Monday. The student was rushed to the hospital after the attack, where later he was pronounced dead. There were no quarrel reported prior to the stabbing. The suspect is being held at police station. Bangkok governor ordered tightening up of security checks at schools to prevent students from bringing weapons. And Thai Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi jointly attended a ceremony held in Bangkok for signing an agreement for the export of Thai agricultural products to China. The Chinese side appreciates Srettha's decision to visit China as his first country outside the Association of Southeast Asian Nations after taking office. Leaders of the 2 countries have drawn up a blueprint for the building of a China-Thailand community, opening a new chapter in bilateral friendly cooperation. During the meeting, Srettha stressed Thailand's firm commitment to the One China principle. Wang emphasized the need for both sides to build the Belt and Road Initiative and speed up the construction of the China-Thailand Railway. And moving on, Maldives President Mohamed Muizzi is facing the ire of opposition lawmakers over his foreign policy, particularly his government's anti-India stance. Opposition parties have gathered the signatures of 55 lawmakers, one short of impeaching the president. Adding to the complexity of the archipelago's affairs, President Muizzi's party has filed a no-confidence motion against the Speaker of the country's parliament. Complete chaos prevails in the political affairs of the island nation. Let's have a complete picture in the next report. Ahmed Muin Faruqi in Colombo and Saeed Absarul Hassan in New Delhi reports for more.
Maldives President Mohamed Muizzi is facing a tough challenge as the main opposition party of the archipelago, the Maldivian Democratic Party or the MDP, has moved an impeachment motion against Muizzi over his foreign policy, particularly his anti-India stance. The Maldivian Democratic Party, along with the Democrats, has gathered the signatures of 55 members, just one short of impeaching the president. According to the Maldives constitution, a president can be impeached with 56 votes. Ibrahim Soli-led MDP and the Democrats under Mohammad Nasheed have expressed concern about the direction of the current administration's foreign policy, stating that it appears to be taking a sharp turn towards an anti-India stance. The development comes a day after high-voltage drama unfolded in the Maldives parliament over the approval of pro-China members in Muidzu's cabinet. Clashes broke out in the Maldives parliament on Sunday between pro-government MPs and opposition lawmakers over differences in the approval of 4 members of Muidzu's pro-China cabinet. Soon after taking oath as the president of the Maldives on November 17 last year, Muidzu, who is regarded as a pro-China leader, formally requested India to withdraw its military personnel from his country. He stated that the Maldivian people have given him a strong mandate to make this request to New Delhi. However, the reality is quite different on the ground, with Maldivian MPs backing very good and firm relations with India. As of now, the fate of President Muidzu hangs in the balance, as the Speaker of the Parliament has not yet decided to take up the matter. Adding a twist to the tale, the ruling president's party has filed a vote of no confidence against the Speaker. All in all, chaos prevails in the archipelago after incumbent President Muidzu took the reign of the country in November last year. With inputs from Moin Faruqi, Bureau Report, DD India.
And Chile's Santiago is currently on red alert due to intense heat wave sweeping the capital. The challenging situation is causing widespread concerns about public health as people experience sweltering conditions throughout the entire week. Residents sought relief from the heat by congregating around the city's fountains as temperatures soared to 33 degrees Celsius. Given the extreme UV index, authorities are advising individuals to stay indoors, remain well hydrated and keep measures to stay cool. Well, in another climate change incident, Spain will work under some new drought measures. The decision was announced by Spain's Andalusia authorities due to the severe water shortage, with reservoirs nearly empty. The approved plan includes funding for expanding desalination facilities and enhancing reservoir infrastructure. Locals and shepherds in areas like the Malaga province noted the worsening drought as water levels plummet. Officials in southern cities anticipate water restrictions by summer unless significant rainfall occurs. And Argentina's Los Alces National Park has experienced fires that have charred over 1,000 hectares, causing heavy smoke and causing concerns about intentionality. The fires began on January 25th and have hampered authorities' efforts to control the fire, which is still active and has affected an area of 1,036 hectares. The park, established in 1937 and declared a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site in 2017, is currently experiencing difficulties due to weather conditions like excessive smoke. Authorities are launching an investigation into the situation. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. 5 men have been arrested on suspicion of murdering 6 people last week in a remote patch of California's Mojave Desert. Officials said the killings are believed to have stemmed from a dispute over the illicit marijuana trade. Sheriff's deputies discovered the bodies last Tuesday night in a remote area of high desert scrub. Jualdunak dancers in Ituren, Spain perform a ritual dance in early carnival celebrations, warding off evil spirits and welcoming spring. The troupe, consisting of men from Ituren and Zubeta, is accompanied by costumes and customized vehicles. The celebrations are part of the early carnival season. Colombian National Police seized 130 poisonous dart frogs at El Dorado International Airport in Bogota, transported by a Brazilian citizen. The frogs were found to be dehydrated and stressed, and the environmental minister warned sanctions could be over $14,000. The Special Administrative Region government is implementing a plastic-free plan in Hong Kong, banning over 10 items, including cotton swabs and toothpicks, for free. Wooden alternatives will be available, but at a higher price. Starting April 22nd, restaurants will no longer provide polystyrene tableware, plastic cups, bowls and straws. Residents using banned disposable items will not be considered breaking the law. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Aiming to further strengthen India and Bhutan's relations across all sectors, India's Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra meets Bhutan's newly elected Prime Minister Leon Sharing Topge. Good news for India as it's set to become the third largest economy in the world soon, with expected growth at 7% in the next few years, aiming to be a $7 trillion economy by 2030. And parts of North India engulfed in a thick blanket of fog, even as residents brave a further dip in mercury level.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future, because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. India remembers Mahatma Gandhi on his 76th death anniversary. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to attend prayer meet at Gandhi Smriti on the occasion of Martyrs' Day. North Korea fires cruise missiles towards Sea of West Coast. It comes a day after a test submarine-launched cruise missile. Tensions mount between Washington and Tehran after drone kills U.S. soldiers in Jordan. NSA John Kirby says don't seek war but vows to take all necessary actions. And India to take on New Zealand in the Under-19 World Cup Super 6 stage match at the Mangong Oval Stadium in Bloemfontein in South Africa. And moving on, India's Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra met with Bhutan's newly elected Prime Minister Leon Sharing Topge during his visit to Bhutan on Monday. Kwatra reaffirmed the close bonds of friendship between the two nations and assured Leon of India's firm commitment to partner with the Bhutan, aligning with the priorities of the royal government and the people of Bhutan. Kwatra also met with Bhutan's Foreign Minister Leon Podhangyal and discussed important bilateral matters of mutual interest and ways to further strengthen India and Bhutan's relations across all sectors. And remembering India's father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, on his death anniversary, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted, and I quote, "I pay homage to Pujya Bapu on his Punya Tithi. I also pay homage to all those who have been martyred for our nation. Their sacrifices inspire us to serve the people and fulfill their vision for our nation," unquote. And moving on, Indian Naval Ship Sumitra has carried out another successful anti-piracy operation off the east coast of Somalia. And Sumitra rescued fishing vessel Al-Naimi and a crew including 19 Pakistani nationals from 11 armed Somali pirates after intercepting the FV on Monday. The Indian Navy's indigenous offshore patrol vessel had been deployed for anti-piracy and maritime security operations east of Somalia and Gulf of Aden. INS Sumitra, over the course of less than 36 hours, has rescued 2 hijacked fishing vessels along with 36 crew, 17 Iranian and 19 Pakistani in the southern Arabian Sea, and has prevented misuse of these fishing vessels as motherships for further acts of piracy on merchant vessels. Well, the inaugural edition of the India-Saudi Arabia joint military exercise called Sadat Andik commenced on Monday at Mahajan in Rajasthan. The exercise will conclude on the 10th of February. The Saudi Arabian contingent, comprising 45 personnel, is being represented by Royal Saudi Land Forces. The exercise aims to train the troops of both sides for joint operations in semi-desert terrain under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. The exercise will involve the establishment of mobile vehicle checkpost, cordon and search operation, house intervention drill, and reflex shooting, slithering and sniper firing. The exercise will provide an opportunity to both contingents to strengthen their bond. It will also act as a platform to achieve shared security objectives, enhance the level of defense cooperation, and foster bilateral relations between the two friendly nations. And India Energy Week 2024 anticipates the presence of 17 energy ministers, more than 35,000 attendees and 900+ exhibitors. India's Petroleum Minister Hardeep Puri said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will engage in a roundtable discussion with CEOs from the oil and gas sector.
India Energy Week 2024 is expected to be a groundbreaking event that stands as an epitome of India's commitment to shaping the future of energy. Following the resounding success of the 2023 edition, this year's event, taking place from 6th to 9th of February in Goa, promises to be even more transformative.
India Energy Week, to that extent, is a golden opportunity for all these related developments on the energy front to be showcased and provide a platform for further development and growth. The event will also feature increased focus across the entire energy value chain, including 3 sessions on biofuels, 3 sessions on hydrogen, and 2 sessions on CCUS.
India Energy Week 2024 will be India's largest and only all-encompassing energy exhibition and conference, bringing together the entire energy value chain, and will serve as a catalyst for India's energy transition goals. A gathering of over 35,000 attendees, 9,000 exhibitors, 400 speakers and 4,000+ delegates converge from across 100 countries.
6 countries which will have pavilions there, 6 countries. This is apart from the exhibitors, who are 900. 6 countries who have pavilions there. These are Canada, Germany, Netherlands, Russia, UK and USA. There is a Make in India pavilion with more than 300 exhibitors to showcase innovative solutions which are being brought forward by the Indian MSMEs.
In just 2 years, India Energy Week has set itself apart, fueled by India's robust economic credentials and a thriving investment climate. The stage is set for collaboration, discovery, and the forging of partnership that will define the trajectory of India's energy landscape. Delegates from over 100 countries will take part in the 2nd edition of the India Energy Week that will take place in Goa. The stakeholders will be keeping an eye on the newest solution and find ways to mitigate the climate change impact, and at the same time find certain solution that will help in that. With camera person Bhim, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
And as some good news, India, which is expected to grow at 7% in the next few years, can aim to be a $7 trillion economy by 2030. Asserting this, India's Finance Ministry, in a report, Indian Economy, a review released ahead of the interim budget to be tabled in the Parliament on Thursday, said the Indian economy is expected to grow at a rate above 7% in coming years on the strength of its financial sector and other recent and future structural reforms. Basis this, it can aspire to become a $7 trillion economy by 2030. The report said the government's policies strengthened the supply side with investment in physical and digital infrastructure to boost output. The report said the government's policies strengthened the supply side with investment in physical and digital infrastructure to boost output. The report also said that India is expected to become the 3rd largest economy in the world soon, with a GDP or gross domestic product of $5 trillion. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. The Maratha military landscapes of India has been announced as India's nomination for recognition as UNESCO World Heritage List for the year 2024-25. The 12 component parts of the nomination include several forts developed between 17th and 19th centuries in the Indian states of Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, which showcase the strategic military powers of the Maratha rule. Handicrafts made from oysters and clams, which were found on the Dhanushkodi beaches in southern India's Tamil Nadu, were displayed in the city of Rameshwaram. Dense fog continues to grip northern India, including the national capital Delhi, as a thick layer of fog blanketed the city amid cold weather conditions, causing low visibility. And cold weather conditions prevail in northern India as residents witnessed dense fog conditions as well as snow in various regions. In northern India's Jammu and Kashmir, heavy snowfall blanketed the Pir Panjal range with thick snow causing road blockades. The Mughal Road, a vital link to the range, has been closed due to the snowfall. And time now for some business news. Now, as the U.S. stocks ended with strong overnight gains, with the S&P 500 index seeing record closing high, the Asian markets were trading higher at the opening session on Tuesday morning. Investors are now waiting for the U.S. Federal Reserve's interest rate decision this week, as well as India's interim budget scheduled this Thursday. While Japan's Nikkei 225 climbed 0.29%, South Korea's Kospi rose 0.82%, while the Nasdaq was up 0.66%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index futures, however, indicated a weaker open. India's benchmark indices also opened in green. On Monday, the Indian stock markets ended sharply higher on renewed buying amid positive global cues. The Sensex had jumped 1,240.90 points to close at 71,941.57, while the Nifty 50 ended 385 points higher at 21,737.60. Meanwhile, oil prices rose in early trade on Tuesday as escalating geopolitical tensions in the West Asia continue to fuel supply concerns. Brent crude futures rose 25 cents to $82.65 a barrel by 0105 GMT. U.S. West Texas Intermediate, or WTI crude, was up 31 cents at $77.09 a barrel. Well, both the contracts fell over $1 on Monday as a deepening real estate crisis fueled Chinese demand worries after a Hong Kong court ordered a liquidation of property giant China Evergrande Group. And Elon Musk, Neuralink's billionaire founder, said the first human received an implant from the brain chip startup on Sunday and is recovering well. In a post on social media platform X on Monday, the first product from Neuralink would be called telepathy, he added. The study uses a robot to surgically place a brain-computer interface implant in a region of the brain that controls the intention to move, Neuralink said. The study will assess the functionality of the interface, which enables people with paralysis of all four limbs to control devices with their thoughts, according to the company's website. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has given a company clearance last year to conduct its first trial to test its implant on humans. In September, Neuralink said it received approval for recruitment for the human trial for paralysis patients. Well, U.S. Congress negotiators have reached agreement on 12 government spending bills. Republican lawmakers said on Monday legislators would need to pass the 12 bills to fund the government and avert a partial shutdown of federal agencies that would otherwise begin on the 1st of March. The agreement is the necessary next step after Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson and Democratic Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer agreed earlier in the year on a $1.59 trillion discretionary spending level for the fiscal year that began on the 1st of October. Congress earlier this month passed a third stopgap funding bill to keep the federal government open through a pair of deadlines on the 1st to the 8th of March. And a group of French farmers blocked major motorways around France with tractors in a standoff with the government over concerns about inflation and competition from cheap imports. Farmers erected a wall of hay to block a highway towards Paris during a day of blockades that saw tractors congesting major highways around France. France's protest follows similar action in other European countries, including Germany and Poland, ahead of European Parliament elections in June. French government spokesperson told that new measures to help farmers will likely be announced today. And still to come on DD India News Hour. We get you ahead how weightlifters from Andhra Pradesh have been an indelible contribution in promoting the sport at Khelo India Youth Games.
What does India Inc. want from the budget?
This is a good time for the government to even look at how it can show its performance, which will lead to predictable economic future of the countries. I would think a lot could happen in terms of even seeing how we can keep the continuance of investment-led growth. Things like uplifting of the rural economy, which is going to be an important area of work to do. I would really see how we are able to enhance rural economy, rural roads, irrigation, storage, warehousing infrastructure.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and moving on to some sports news now. India will clash with New Zealand in the ICC Under-19 World Cup 2024, kicking off their Super 6 campaign on Tuesday. The match will take place at the Mengong Oval Stadium in Bloemfontein in South Africa, commencing at 1:30 p.m. IST. The Indian team has been in a brilliant form as they reach the Super 6 stage as the Group A leaders. The boys in blue notched up easy wins against Bangladesh, Ireland and USA and look confident to continue momentum in the match on Tuesday. New Zealand registered a second-place finish in Group D, having earned 2 wins from 3 games in the tournament so far. Sri Lanka and West Indies will be involved in another Super 6 Group 2 fixture of the day. An Indian all-rounder Ravindra Jadeja and batter KL Rahul will miss the second test against England in Vishakhapatnam after suffering an injury during the first test in Hyderabad. Jadeja pulled his hamstring, which could explain his game-changing run-out during India's second innings in Hyderabad. Middle-order batter Rahul will also sit out the match in Vizag from Friday after complaining of right quadriceps pain. Jadeja and Rahul's injuries are further blows for India, with Virat Kohli currently absent for personal reasons. Batter Sarfaraz Khan, left-arm spinner Saurabh Kumar and off-spinning all-rounder Washington Sundar have been added to the squad. And weightlifting in the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh got more popular in the year 2000 when Karnam Malleshwari bagged India's first Olympic medal. And now the state is promoting the sport, especially among women weightlifters. DD India's Deepika Meheto caught up with Neerja and Bhavani, who bagged silver and bronze medal respectively at Khelo India Youth Games, to know more about the sport.
This is your first Khelo India Youth Games and you've got a silver medal and you've also got a bronze medal. How are you feeling about it? Are you happy?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
And how difficult or easy was the journey of these players?
They had a lot of tough journey to come here. Now they got the result what they have fought for. But we are expecting in future for the gold, which is their aim to get a gold medal for India in international.
Coming from a humble background and also participating at a national level game like Khelo India is not easy because you have to maintain your fitness, your nutrition levels and everything. How did you manage all of that, being the coach?
First of all, the support of the Sports Authority of India, government. They are providing a very good hostels and everything to the kids who are very young, talented, and they are giving such a facilities like transportation, accommodation, kids and good nutritionist diet.
When we talk about the bigger plans, what are the players dreaming of next?
Actually, everyone's main dream is the Olympics. They are dreaming about the Olympics only. Still, they have a lot of journey.
And how much Khelo India would help in that dream?
Yeah, Khelo India is the very good event for finding out the grassroots level talents. So because of that, Khelo India make one pathway to the Olympics.
Khelo India is indeed creating new pathway to their run-up to Olympics' coming edition. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Chennai.
And India's shooting team had yet another day to remember at the International Shooting Sport Federation World Cup in Cairo. Divyansh Singh Panwar shot a world record 253.7 in the final to clinch the air rifle gold in the World Cup. It was the fourth World Cup gold for the 21-year-old Divyansh, following the ones he had won in Munich, Beijing and Delhi since 2019. The former world #1 Olympian beat Danilo Sulazzo of Italy by 1.9 points for the gold. In the women's 10-meter air rifle competition, Sonam Uttam Maskar bagged silver in a first International Shooting Sport Federation World Cup. Sonam shot 252.1 in the 8-woman final, finishing 0.9 behind Germany's Anna Janssen. India is now firmly on the top of the season opening World Cup stage with 2 golds and 3 silver medals in their kitty. And Maharashtra bagged a gold medal in women's freestyle 200-meter category at the swimming event. Got in an exclusive interview. Deepika Mehta got an exclusive conversation with all 3 medalists. Take a listen.
Now we have with us the gold, silver and bronze medalists of 200-meter freestyle event. Many congratulations to all 3 of you for bagging the medal. How difficult was the competition?
It was too difficult. Like, there are many competitors and they're from many states, so it's really too difficult.
And when we talk about this golden memory, has this been your biggest achievement? Tell us more about your achievements.
My biggest achievement is participating in the Asian Games that happened recently in Hangzhou.
And how was the experience?
It was great swimming with other swimmers from other nations, and it was a really big event, and I learned a lot from it. Yeah.
How important is Khelo India even for participating at international level?
I'm not so sure, but I think the other junior national events and senior national events that are conducted by the Swimming Federation of India, I think that help us to go to the international events.
What role does Khelo India plays in your life?
It's just a really big games, like the way they conduct it and all, and it helps a lot.
Indeed, and when we talk to the medalist again here, how important is Khelo India for you and especially this great achievement?
I would say it's pretty important for me as it's my first time participating in the Khelo India, and I have 3 more events, and I wish I do better on them.
What is the role of the parents who play a very important role in your strengthening you mentally and emotionally as well?
I would say they're like really supportive, and I'm thankful for them for supporting me in my career and other achievements as well.
All right, and what is your next big aim?
Next big aim is to select at international level and getting more in Khelo Indias.
Indeed, we wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. So these are the female swimmers who are elated to bag this medal today at this event, and they are hoping for more international events and their participation with great results. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Chennai.
And the West Bengal team has bagged gold in women's volleyball competition. Women have created history in sporting arena and the past few years have witnessed remarkable change. DD India correspondent Deepika Mehta spoke to gold-winning player.
We are here with the gold medalist of volleyball. The gold has come from Team West Bengal. They've defended the title for 3 times in the past, and this time also they bagged a gold medal. Many congratulations to you. How difficult was the match?
The match was tough because it's a final match. We played good. Our team worked hard.
And when we talk about West Bengal coming into sports of late, the development has grown really multifold. Do you think sports is getting a lot of attention these years?
Yes. I think that volleyball is getting a little popular.
nowadays.
And especially when we talk about Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he came for the inauguration ceremony also, and he mentioned about Khelo India in his Mann Ki Baat edition also. So do you think sports is getting a lot of motivation, especially the players, the young players participating in it?
Yes, I think that it is getting popular, and it will be good for our players because there is a bright future for us. They all play with motivation, inspiration and all things. So we think that it will be more good if it will get a little bit more attention.
And to whom are you dedicating your gold medal?
And now let's take you live to Gandhi Smriti, where India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is attending Sarvadharma Pratna on the occasion of 76th death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation.
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। 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 सीताराम 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 सीताराम। भज प्यारे तू सीताराम। सीताराम सीताराम। भज प्यारे तू सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम। ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम। सबको सम्मति दे भगवान। ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम। सबको सम्मति दे भगवान। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम। सीताराम 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 सीताराम। भज प्यारे तू सीताराम। रघुपति राघव राजा पतित पावन सीताराम सीताराम सीताराम।
Well, you were watching live from Rajghat, where President Draupadi Murmu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar and other dignitaries paid floral tributes to the father of the nation and also attended the prayer meet at the 76th death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. And that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.